Today's video is for maintenance guys. This is what I'm doing right now. This is the experience that I have right now at this moment in my life. This is where I'm at. I'm a maintenance supervisor, so I can talk a little bit about this. But I will say before I go any further that this video is not for everybody that's a maintenance guy. There's guys that don't like to buy tools, that are content with what they learned. They're happy where they're at. There's many circumstances, and then they're okay. They're not investing time or energy in learning more or advancing more. So I would advise those guys that you guys are okay. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. This video is not necessarily for you. It could help you, but this video is not for that type of guy. This video is for the guys that are buying their tools and learning more and trying to get better at what they're doing, but they just feel stuck where they're at. They feel that they can't advance anymore, or they don't know, they can't figure out how to make money in this trade or what's going on. Why is a new guy coming in already making more money than me? Well, I've been here for so many years. They already know me. They know my experience. And yet, this new guy comes in and they pay him more. What's going on there? How can I advance? This video is for those guys that have been trying to advance, been putting in the effort, the time, the money, but are just stuck. Now, I'll say this. When I first started in this trade, I had already been I am a licensed contractor. I had already owned my companies. I had been a concrete foreman for many years, about 20 years. So I was really experienced as a worker, but I had absolutely no experience as a maintenance tech. So when I applied, this just fate, life got me to this situation, and then I ended up, trying to get a job as a maintenance guy. So when I applied, they asked me all these questions. There was actually a test that I felt I didn't do really good at the test because I had never worked in a garbage disposal or a swimming pool or an air conditioner or anything like that. So obviously, even though I was experienced in other things, I didn't have any experience in maintenance. So I got hired, and I liked it right away. I thought it was a good deal because coming from a construction background where when it rains, when it snows, when inspections don't pass, or the plumber didn't get his stuff done, we'd have to wait for certain situations, and we wouldn't always work all the time, and depending on many factors. So I liked this job because I figured out, this job is 40 hours a week at least every week. Doesn't matter what's going on. There's always work here, so I was okay with it. So I started in a pretty bad property because nobody in that company wanted me. So they did hire me, of course, and they sent me to not the best property they had. So I was doing that, and then one of my friends, he used to be an employee of mine. I called him up and said, you know what, this is good work. You may want to forget about construction, try this out. And he came out, and he was put in a better property as a helper to another maintenance tech. And then I called another friend, and I told him, there's good work here, and so I got two friends in the company, but starting at the beginning, I was only making, I'll say it, I was making $14 an hour when I started, and they were making $16 an hour, just at the beginning. Not that I was more experienced than them or they were more experienced than me. That had nothing to do with it, just because of the properties they were at. And this is really important. This is a really important point that it doesn't get through a lot of guys' heads, that the property really, really matters, but there's more to it than that. It's not just that the property doesn't pay you. There's more to it like that. I'll give you guys something that happened in my life that made me realize, this situation. When I was 16, 17 years ago, 16, 17 years old, which is about 30 years ago, I worked at Taco Bell, and I was really fast. I was the fastest steamer there. The steamer is a guy like on the line, and I don't know if they still call it that. That's what they used to call it back then. And I was a really good steamer. Or you would almost call him like not really a cook. Nobody's cooking anything, but the one prepping all the meat and the beans and all that, and the tacos and the burritos and all that. So I was the fastest one. I was really good, and everybody loved me at that Taco Bell that I worked at. And after a few months, I asked the manager. I asked her, what, can I become a shift manager? And she looked at me and she told me, what, I can't make you a shift manager because you're the best steamer I have. So if I make you a shift manager, then I can't use you there, and then we don't have anybody to replace you there. And right there I understood, what, this place is not for me, because I already understood that just because I was good at this, I was never going to move up in position. Not that I wanted to work at that fast food place the rest of my life, but I just thought it was a little bit more money and a little bit better job. But of course, they were not going to give it to me because I was the best steamer that they had at that moment. So this makes me think of being a maintenance tech in a bad property. I have a friend. He's in a really bad property, and he always tells me, you know what? He complains a lot about, they keep on hiring new guys, and I'm always thinking that, they're going to promote me or they're going to move me to a better property, but I'm always stuck here. He said, and this property doesn't pay, and he's been with them for years, and I keep on telling him, man, they're never going to move you from that property to a better property, because when there is an opening, a good position, a nice property, a newer property that's easier, they're not going to send you over there because they already have you here. They can't replace you here at this property because nobody's going to want to work here, and you're already here. So they're never going to say, you know what, this guy's really good. This guy's been good to the company. We'll give him an easier position. We'll take him to a newer property that has better budget, that pays more. It's never going to happen. It's just common sense. This regional supervisor is going to say, you know what, if I move him out of there, then who's going to replace him where he's at right now? It's really hard to fill that position. That doesn't pay, and it's really hard. I'm going to have a hard time filling that position, so he'll stay there. So I can't move him. So that's number one. You're not going to get moved if you're in a bad property. The better you are, the more they're going to like you there. And the less they can pay you, the more they're going to keep you there. They're never going to say he deserves to go to that property, which is, sad, but it's just, that's business. That's the way life works. The only thing you can really do is either quit, ask for a transfer, or move to a different company that has a good opening, a good position somewhere else. It's probably going to pay more right off the bat. And that's number one. I'll be honest with you guys. They're never going to move you from a bad property because they can't replace you at that property. They can't replace you, and nobody's going to do the work that you're doing at that property, so you're stuck there. And that's really important to know it. Companies are not worried so much about you. They're worried about the property. And you're the guy that needs to be there, and they'll keep you there as long as they can. Now, as far as moving, that same guy, he tells me, you know what? Every supervisor that comes by, I train him. I tell him what's going on. I show him the whole property. I've been here for years. They're never going to move him either as a supervisor. And I told him, same thing, same situation. There's no reason why they would make you a supervisor that pays more, that's going to be in charge of other things and doesn't have to do all the nitty gritty of all the work. You're the one there. They're going to keep you there as long as they can for what they're paying you. They'll give you like $1 raise a year or whatever that company's paying. But they're never going to move you up. There's no reason to move you up. It's easier to bring a 22-year-old supervisor that's really never been around too much, but they'll pay him more. But because that guy, they can change. This guy, they need him. So I keep on telling you, man, and I am a company man. I'll be honest with you guys, but I'm a company man, but my first priority is my person and my family, and then the company. So the company to me is secondary. I have a friend that's been at the same company for about 30 years, and he thinks I'm pretty crazy that I've been jumping around so much. And I think he's crazy that he's been at the same company so long that they don't really pay him that much. But we both have different ways of seeing things. I have no issue with moving around because I'm confident in my skills, and I know that wherever I'm at, I'll be okay. He may not be as confident in his skills, so he just stays there where he's at. He's going to retire there, and he's okay with that. And I have no issue with that. We're both right. We just have different ways of seeing things. Now, as far as moving it from a maintenance tech to a supervisor, it's going to be really, really hard at the same property. Usually, you have to move. And the theme about my video is that usually you're going to have to move. It's going to be really hard. And I know a lot of us and you guys get really upset where you see your company giving a sign-on bonuses to bring new guys that they're going to pay more money than what they're paying you. They're not giving you a bonus to stay. They're giving a new guy a bonus to come over to you where you're at, and they're probably going to pay him more, and they're going to tell him, whatever you do, don't discuss how much we're paying you with the employees here, because you know that they're already paying them more, and they don't even know if they're even good or not. So that's a few things that I've got that make a big difference. If you want to make more money, it's either you ask for a transfer or you just change companies. That's two things that are. It's unfortunate. It happens in all the trades. It's gonna keep on happening, forever. But it's unfortunate. Sometimes the best way to make money is to move around. I hate doing a video like this because I really don't want people just quitting and moving around. But it's really sad to me when I see guys that are stuck in the same situation, the same position, the bad properties that are never going to get moved. I know they could be good supervisors. They're never going to get promoted to a supervisor because they need them where they're at. And this is just something that I wanted to talk to you maintenance guys about. I know that I'm gonna get a lot of criticism from a lot of guys that they're gonna say, no, it's better to stay where you're at. No, they already know you there and you know what you're doing, and it's bad moving around. But in my case, it has worked. Hopefully, if you're good enough, if you're confident in your skills, you're gonna be okay wherever you're at. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.